to do that, we'll have to get real underground, baby. It's just this way at the Dim Carnival.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dim Carnival. I'm Bill.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Ryan.
And at long last, we've done it. Just a scant year and a half, 2 years after beginning, we have made it to the end of Hell's Pit. And truly, this was our Hell's Pit, because we fucking fell in it.
Well, ICP did say that the world was going to end after the 6th was over, and here we are.
It ended in the middle of it.
Gentlemen, I don't know what your guys' sky looks like right now, but I am up in Sonoma County, and I would like to send you a picture of what the sun looked like the other day at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon and post it on Instagram because it would totally fit with this album. Nice. Hell. Oh my god. Shit's killing me up here. I can't breathe. I don't know what it's like with you guys down there, but...
That's fine. Did you, Ryan, did you see that picture of the Monterey on fire? Holy shit.
Oh.
Yeah.
The Monterey coastline just completely on fire.
Oh, good.
Pretty wild. So shit's going well. I hope you're all doing well out there listening. All of California's on fire. There's a global pandemic and
2 hurricanes.
Yeah. 4 more years, etc. All right.
Whoop whoop.
Anyway, let's talk about something happier. Literal hell. Literal Christian hell.
Well, by the time this episode goes up, it'll be like mid-September, so
Things
who
will be
knows
so
even
much
how
better.
bad it's going to be then.
Things are going to be so much better. Shut up.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
So before we get going, do you guys mind if we talk about a listener email that we got?
Fuck yeah, I mind.
Yeah.
We got an email from esteemed podcast contributor, the homie Rob, about...
I prefer my homie Rob grilled, not esteemed.
Boiled?
Never in Utica.
He sent us an email about The Witch. So he covered The Witch a couple weeks ago, and he wanted to share some more of his thoughts on kind of some of the points that we talked, or maybe give some clarification or background.
Nice, let's do it.
Yeah. So one of the things is that we kind of talked about how this album, Hell's Pit, doesn't really feel like a Joker's card. That it doesn't really even mention the kind of hallmarks, doesn't really mention the carnival. It doesn't even really it doesn't really mention the Wraith at all. And we kind of chalked that up to that they had said how they weren't really thrilled about making the album or whatever. But what the homie Rob speculates is that he feels that's actually basically like an anti-Joker's card. That all the previous Joker's cards, except for the Carnival of Carnage, which is kind of setting everything up, the entities that are the Joker's cards, they all play this role in sort of judging people or weighing their life, or basically being a sort of barometer or an influence to try to influence folks to live a better life. You know, that they could kind of see the repercussions of their actions through these entities of the Dark Carnival. But the
Avatars.
Okay, sure, yes. But the witch is like pure evil and only wants to create evil and make people do bad things. And if the carnival is this, you know, they say in the unveiling that the carnival is God, and if that's what all of those Joker's cards is, and this is something opposed to that, right? Hell's Pit is the album that encapsulates all of the other, like, the truly bad stuff. and so the witch isn't the devil necessarily, but more of like their own kind of evil force that counteracts or counterbalances the Dark Carnival. I hope I'm summarizing that well. Rob's gonna write me another email and say you didn't get my point right. But yeah, I'm curious what you guys think about that. Nothing.
I think
All right.
that it's no. Steve has no comment.
Thank you.
I think it's astute. I mean, he would know better than I would, honestly. So
Yeah,
it
you
all
know,
checks out.
yeah, it all checks out. It makes a lot of sense. It makes me appreciate the concept of the album more, and that I didn't recognize that there was a deeper thought process to it. So, yeah, that's a really great.
You're always operating on a deeper level.
It's true.
Nice.
If there's anything I know about the Insane Clown Posse. Well, thanks for the email, Rob. That was very informative, and we appreciate every time you check in, and you always give us something new to think about. So thanks a lot. Anyway, this week we're talking about the last 4 tracks on Hell's Pit. Whoa, how did we do it? We did it. Fucking whoop whoop, etc. We're talking about Basehead Attack, Angels Falling, Manic Depressive, and Real Underground, baby!
Real Underground, baby.
It was real too.
Which, I mean, I felt it could have been called Real Unnecessary, baby, but we'll talk about that when we get there. So you can feel free to pause this now. I mean, you can always feel free to pause it wherever, you know. I don't want to, remove your agency as a listener of Dim Carnival, but you can listen to those now, or we'll give you little opportunities to listen to the tracks when we get there. You know, in case anyone wants to start with this episode for their first time listening to the podcast. I'm sure
every episode of Dim Carnival, Bill, is someone's first.
It's somebody's first. Yeah, that's right. Thanks, True Believer. Excelsior. So anyway, before we dive in, I wanted to let's go around the table and talk about something cool that we've been doing lately. What I wanted to clue you guys in on, have you guys heard of 2 Minutes to Late Night?
No.
Well, 2 Minutes to Late Night is a metal talk show on YouTube. It's the only heavy metal talk show on YouTube, and it's hosted by a guy in a suit and corpse paint called Arsenio Hall. And as it turns out, as is the case with most people who Steve liked it, as is the case with most people who are into metal, this guy is an extremely talented musician. So during the quarantine, so he had 2 Minutes to Late Night going. Like, it had been like a legit, like, heavy metal talk show. They had, like, raised a bunch of money through, like, various crowdfunding to, like, they had a set, and they would have, like, a talk show with, like, guests from metal bands, and, like, they were developing a really good following. And they had a bunch of connections to people within the metal scene and beyond, and were picking up more and more of those connections all the time. But when the pandemic hit, what they've started doing now is they've started making a series of, with help of crowdfunding, they've started making a series of cover songs with Arsenio doing a lot of vocals and a lot of, like, guitar and bass parts, and then, like, really well-known musicians and slightly less well-known musicians, like, doing a bunch of covers. And it's been a lot of fun, and it's, like, some really, really crazy, like, combinations of people doing really unexpected songs, and it's, like, for the most part, very cool and fun. Like, if you've ever wanted to, like, see, for example, Max Weinberg played drums for Earth AD by the Misfits, that's a thing that you can watch. Or if you've wanted to see members of Coheed and Cambria, Mastodon, Primus, and Tool cover a Rush song, and one of the first things they did was they did a cover of Dare to Be Stupid, which it fucking rules. And although that cover is one of my less favorite covers that they've done, I appreciate that a bunch of fucking metal fans wanted to cover Dare to Be Stupid. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it rules. So yeah, it's really cool, and I really recommend it, especially to you guys, but to everyone.
Yeah.
Very fun.
Wow.
Yeah. So you guys have any suggestions for?
Wait, what was that called again?
It's called 2 Minutes to Late Night.
I'm writing it down.
Alright,
So Iron Maiden reference.
Yep.
I do have a recommendation.
Yeah.
It's actually a recommendation that I got from Steve, which is a YouTube show called Not Even a Show, which I have been all fully caught up on and been consuming weekly, all their videos. Love it. It's a great, palate cleanser, I feel like. And it's just really stupid, cheesy prank phone calls to conservative talk radio hosts.
I cannot believe how much joy it brings me to listen to it. Like, I feel like my heart is like bursting with glee, like if I was like listening to some kind of like brilliant motivational speaker.
It's just a bit of, it's not, I wouldn't call it dignified in any way. It just feels really nice. It's very cathartic to watch. And I do think the guys that do it are pretty clever and funny, even though they don't try to intentionally be clever or funny very often in their calls. They usually just try to harass people.
So I tried to watch some of it, and it is funny, but like it seemed like there's a lot of mythology, like because I just picked an episode at random. Like, is there a like primer, or like do you just have to like go back to the beginning and start? Like it seems like it feels like the sort of thing where like there should be a pinned video where it's like, for new viewers, start here.
Yeah, they should have that, because I got into it right in a weird section, and then ended up watching a 2.5 hour all cut video of one particular person that they're burning, and then I understood the concept of it when I watched that.
Seems like that would be something more beneficial to.
Yeah. So I figured it out on accident or just randomly, and then that's why when I explained it to you guys and Ryan checked it out, I was trying to explain it so it makes sense.
Yeah. Like, I think that they would actually benefit from like doing like the sensational YouTube titles that like are very effective for a reason. Like if they had one that's like shirtless libertarian gets roasted or something, like that would be.
But the thing is the format doesn't allow for that, because it gets broken up with different people they call, and what happens is over a series of time is there's like one major inside joke.
Right.
And so yeah, so it's hard to like say.
I'm just saying, like when I open when I watch like trading card opening videos, it's always like massive rookie hit. And like that, like there's a reason why people like do
I get
titles
it,
like that is because it works. Like,
no, I understand.
I watch a 40-minute card opening video and the rookie hits like 33 minutes in, and it's like, that wasn't that impressive of a card, but it still worked.
All right.
Well, it's a show.
Yeah, sure.
It's not even a show.
Regular show.
Yeah, I think if you watch 2 episodes, then you pretty much got it.
Yeah. I mean, technically,
yeah. Steve, I wanted to, real quick before we dive in, I wanted to bring your attention to one more thing about 2 Minutes to Late Night. There's a recurring character on 2 Minutes to Late Night named Weird Elvira, and it's a woman dressed like Elvira, but is wearing a mustache and Weird Al glasses. See, I knew it. I knew that would get you. And she does vocals on Dare to Be Stupid. So.
Oh, brilliant! Oh my God! All right.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that out.
I'm so into that.
Sounds wonderful.
that's like my new thing. I haven't watched it yet.
Well, one thing that's our old thing is talking about Insane Clown Posse and fucking dragging these jokers and these jokers cards. We're gonna fucking eviscerate them like we're John Oliver from last week tonight. We're gonna tear these guys a new butthole because their music's so bad. I'm just kidding. We're probably gonna have some positive things to say. All right, we're gonna talk about Basehead Attack, and that is track number 14 on the album. And if you haven't taken a listen to that, You can go ahead and check that out right now.
Seen another zombie in the register. I'm used to shooing them off from begging from the customers, but now I gotta reach up under the seat and grab the hand axe, whipped it from there and stuck it into his back. The attack of the beast. They got a mission. They always have a hunger, someone they always miss.
So there I was, guys. I was watching Sanford and Son, working the graveyard shift at a party store, you know.
Is a party store like a party city?
Yeah, party store.
Sure.
Okay.
What else would it be?
I mean, I just didn't want to assume, you know? I don't know.
I think the only other possibility would be like one of those like warehouses or storefronts where they exclusively host children's birthday parties. And I don't think that's what he's talking about. I don't think they have a graveyard shift there.
Right.
That would be great though. If you're like, yeah, I need to have my kid's 4th birthday party, and they're like, oh, you know what? Our only opening this week is 3 a.m.
I mean, it's kind of the same for like a party city though, right? Do people go to party city at 3 a.m.?
No, but he's behind the glass. He's watching TV, and I don't think that he's like. I think he's like working the graveyard.
Security guard?
No, like they gotta stock shelves and shit, man. Like,
yeah, I mean, they especially
okay.
depending on what part of town certain mini malls are in.
I see.
Especially if it's Halloween season and they got to keep all those Lake Avenue sexy costumes all stocked up, you know.
God
the
forbid someone steal a
Lake Avenue
$12
truck
ladybug
backs up.
costume.
Yes. The armed guards come by with the armored Lake Avenue truck and they unload the Lake Avenue bags, and then they got to sort them all by, you know, tiered ranked sexiness, and then you put the sexiest ones on the bottom where the children can grab them. You know what the best thing that ever happened in a party store is that Vine where someone's wearing a Halloween mask and the other person has like a Groot hand, and then they stick finger down. Guys.
Yeah,
awful.
It is awful, but it's also tremendous.
I like that. That's what's gotten you cracked up tonight.
Right.
I'm trying to be a professional, guys.
Well, I just saw on Instagram that all Michaels and everybody has put all their Halloween shit out. Target and everybody.
Target, yeah.
2 weeks ago, I went into the store and there's bags of Halloween candy out. Right. And you know what? Like, I'm not going to be upset about, you know, the one time a year that I can buy Crackle being longer, like a longer Crackle window. I'm not upset about it, but it's still a little weird.
Well, I feel usually like the Target Halloween section is one of my favorite things every year. And I just love checking everything out. But Michael's has good stuff too, and a lot of different stores. And I feel like the merchandise is improving. There was tons of like tarot and fortune card stuff. That was really, really good. I saw a lot of cool photos.
Have you already thought about what Halloween costume Val's going to wear this year?
No, but thanks for putting that in my head.
You're welcome.
That'll be fun.
He's going to dress as a sexy radio.
Right. Me and
put tassels on his dials.
Right. Pasties. Megan and I already had a couple's costume planned out to be
the plug and socket.
Uncle Fester and the blonde-haired lady from Addams Family Values.
Oh yeah, that rules. You're gonna be the blonde lady?
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say Uncle Fester and the light bulb. That'd be good.
But now we're not gonna go to any Halloween parties, so it's out the window.
Well, you can still dress up.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You're supposed to dress up, man. You've got to go nowhere to dress up. I mean, we dressed up to go to your mom's house. That sounds like a fucking diss, but it's true. Mom had a Halloween party.
It was a Halloween party.
Yeah, I seriously didn't even respond to that because I knew it was real.
Anyway, Basehead Attack. We're like
Basehead Attack.
28 minutes into this episode, so we should probably talk about some shit.
Yeah,
we like talking to each other. It's a thing.
Yeah, no, it's great. I prefer it.
Guys, I thought it was really great to have a strong Shaggy track.
Yeah.
I didn't actually go back and specifically look for this, but I feel like a lot of the tracks, especially the ones we listened to last week, were really J heavy. Something like the middle of it's just my recollection. So having like 2 verses in a row from Shaggy and a big presence in the chorus, that was like a nice little treat, man. A little change of pace that I appreciate.
Very late on the album.
Right.
Is there a difference between a basehead and a crackhead? No?
I don't do enough drugs, but I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Because, it's free basing, right? That's what a basehead is. It's like a specific way of smoking crack.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's all the same drug. You take it different ways, I guess, but yeah.
So the song is about a guy being beset by zombie crackheads. Like, they're zombies, but they're zombies because they're addicted to crack. Or something, to that effect. But do you guys also feel it's interesting that it seems like the one song that's not like explicitly in or about hell is the Shaggy song on the album?
Huh.
I was kind of thinking of, isn't that what Rob's, the homie Rob's theory was, that it was like current depictions of hell on Earth? I can't remember exactly. Hopefully I'm not getting that wrong. But that it's not necessarily meant to be like one cohesive, inclusive world from start to finish, but just like kind of different snapshots. I was thinking of like Zombieland, just like a scary situation to be in of a version of hell on Earth. But I really like the music with the like, it was kind of like a Mars Attacks, like alien phasers or space invaders kind of like dropping their phasers in the song. I really like that.
Yeah. Hands down to me, far and away, the highlight of the song, the highlight of maybe the back half of the album is the cork sound.
I like that. That's a kind of, so I thought that was what you were actually, I was anticipating that's what you were going to say, Bill, is that it's like it's not just a song about crackhead zombies, but it's like they really make fun of, or they're like really dissing people who do drugs this much. How they have like nothing left in their brains but sand, and they get shot in the head, but they don't even know, like they just keep going on with their lives.
Yeah, they've lost their souls in their shells of people. Like they rip their arms off and stuff too.
Yeah.
Little criticism here from the
detachable arms
on the drug use. This track was produced by Isham. And actually, I think all of the tracks this week are produced by Isham.
Nice.
Oddly enough.
Nice.
And it surprised me how many like practical instruments there are. The main verse is like a pretty simple beat, but there's a synthesizer that like goes up and down. And then there's a guitar, like a heavy guitar chorus, and then on Violent J's verse, the music kind of drops back and it's just a bass. With the beat, like a real bass, not like a synth bass.
Yeah. Yeah. There was an intro to this song, where like a person standing on the street and a basehead is like telling a story of saying, hey, like my car or my family's around the corner and just give me some, I just need a little bit of money to get gas so I can get out of here and get home, and I'll mail you the money. And that's part of like the skit, how the song begins, right?
Panhandler, right?
Yeah. The years that I lived in San Francisco, and like especially after when I was playing in a band and I'd leave band practice and I'd walk to on Market Street and get a cab to go home, I heard that story so many times. And sometimes I'd be standing there and I'd be super cool with the person and try to like, it's like, that sucks, and like sometimes it's like their family's in a hotel and they just need to get a little bit of money so they can get gas. So I'm like, why'd you get a hotel instead of getting gas? But I don't say that. I just like, oh, that sucks, man, And so this intro of this song kind of like, it didn't bother me, but I was like, oh my god, like, yeah, I've heard that story, and so the song bothers me, because I feel like crackheads are like a really easy target. And believe me, I think like when you live in big cities and you guys have experienced this, and like just like I have, like and really populated areas, like crackheads could be super annoying. But like, I couldn't help but listening to this song and be like, yeah, I totally hear what they're saying, but also like it dehumanizes them. Because they still are people. They're people. You know what I mean? And I was just like, because some of it made me like when Shaggy's like, first I just loved that he was like, I always love stories where they're like working regular jobs, so I can like picture him sitting in a booth, like with his painted face and wearing security guard stuff. I love that. And then, and like he's, having to do all this stuff with the crackheads and they're attacking him, and he finally gets a hatchet from his car and all that stuff. But like the one that jumps from the tree and misses by 20 feet, like, that cracks me up. Yeah, man. So there's so much awesome stuff in this song, and I actually really like this song. But at the same time, it just makes me sad because, like, they're real people too. You know what I mean? That's all.
That's my major problem with this song as well. Where it's like, it's exceedingly cruel to people who are suffering from addiction through no real fault of their own, But, for the most part, it's just using them as an allegory for zombies when it just could, it could just, be Zombie Attack instead of Basehead Attack. But, I do want to give a shout out to Gonzo the Great, Genius, contributor who, left 2, annotations on this song. And they were both, just where it says Shaggy, Too Dope, and Violent J, where they're, denoted as rapping the specific verses, and he highlighted Shaggy Too Dope and he said, "Not to be confused with this guy," and posted a picture of Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. And then way down at the bottom where it says Violent J, he highlighted Violent J, they highlighted Violent J and put in a picture of Violent J with the big, long, scary black fingernails from, I believe, Jekyll Brothers, and wrote, "Big Violent J is on this song too. What did you expect anyway?" So just making people aware that both members of ICP are present.
Right.
Brilliant.
Don't worry about it, guys. They're here.
I mean, it's surprising when you get 2 Shaggy verses in a row. You think, well, maybe we're just going to have Shaggy. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, boom, Violent J. You forgot about Violent J. Was he even in the band anymore? It's great. Like, there's so many Violent J songs by himself on ICP albums. There is, like, almost no Shaggy, like, just Shaggy without a presence of Violent J. And I think the epitome of their relationship is in 6 Foot 7 Foot, I believe, when Violent J is like rapping almost the whole song and Shaggy like jumps in and starts busting out this rad verse, and like the music cuts out and Violent J is like, "Joey, you have your own fucking album," because his solo album had just come out.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And I think that's a perfect encapsulation of their dynamic.
I like it.
Look, I have to be on your track, but you can't be on my track. All right. Do you have anything else to say about this song?
No, I think we covered it, man.
Cool. All right. Well, let's go ahead and take on Down the Spooky Road to Angels Falling. And if you haven't taken a listen to that song, check it out right now.
I got a blowgun too, a real one at that. I dip the tips in poison, lay up on my back, and now they piercing through the air straight up into the sky. It's like the only thing you hear is pew into the sky. I bought a harpoon off the internet and went up and tried to shoot it, but
I think this is a great concept for an album, for a song. 10 out of 10 concept, I think, on this one, where they're in hell, trying to fucking pick off angels, or succeeding in sniping angels, but it's also a duality of sort of raging out of the world and being filled with violence and being responsible for sins and the sadness of heaven or the sadness of the pure, but also you're in hell. So I don't know if it's clear of whether they're speaking as agents of the Dark Carnival, or if they're speaking as agents of hell, or if they're speaking as people in hell, saying now I'm conscripted into this holy war and I'm picking off angels, or I'm just in hell and I'm upset about it. So I'm like, it's not fully clear, the perspective, but maybe it's just been too long since I listened to it.
I think I'm a simple man, so I may be mistaken, but I had a completely different interpretation of what that song was.
Yeah,
it was just like a rooftop shooter.
Yeah, like, I literally interpreted it as he's shooting all this stuff off because it starts off kind of like cool with that concept, like you said, of killing all these angels. And then when you come to really find out why he's doing it, it's because he's pissed off that his girlfriend died and didn't even like tell him about it, or she didn't even try to live. Like, it turns into this like a really weird, creepy, like stalker song. Like,
really
he's like
falls
blaming,
off a cliff.
Yeah, and like he ends up like blaming this lady for dying. You don't know why she died. Like, you don't know if she died by suicide. So like, you can understand if they even made a hint of that, then it might make sense that he's like, you didn't even, tell me or whatever. Now it makes sense, but that's not even alluded. Like, you don't even know why she dies. And he's just upset because she left him. Mm-hmm. and I just it left a really bad taste in my mouth. And it sucks because like the beginning of the song and the first part of the concept, like you said, I just like pictured him just like, oh, I'm a weirdo and I'm like trying to kill angels. And like, I thought there'd be like a good reason why. And then it turned out to be because he's a fucking creep.
But there's nothing in the song to suggest that he's not doing anything but shooting things straight up into the sky because he's angry at like a higher power, right?
I thought he was trying to kill whatever's up there so that she would eventually fall down to him so he could be with her again.
Yeah, right. But he's not. But what I'm saying is,
he's not upset at God or doesn't care about killing angels.
What I'm saying is that like he's not a rooftop shooter in the sense of like he's not just like killing people indiscriminately.
Oh no! I did not
literally
get that.
Just
like
spraying mace up into the sky.
He's mad.
In that sense, it's fucking hilarious. And I think that in that read of it, like it's, which is the accurate read, and I was completely full of shit, and I had actually transposed something that I had gleaned like on my first or second listen to it, rather than like remembering what the song is actually about. And apologies for taking too long between listening and recording the episode, but you are completely correct. But I think that it's less like sinister and creepy and more like a really scathing indictment of like male entitlement and like toxic masculinity of like, oh, you're gonna fucking die on me? Well, I'm gonna fucking be on the roof shooting a blow dart into the sky trying to hit an angel. Like, that's and like that just renders this guy down to like the most pathetic possible like example of like I deserve everything and I own you and I possess you.
I didn't think of it like that. Yeah.
Because he's victim blaming. Like, she could have hung on it, but she didn't even try.
Yeah.
Like,
but he's not the hero in the song.
She lied to me about the plans we made together because she died. Like, what a piece of shit this guy is. Like, he deserves to be on his rooftop, like, just blasting a harpoon up into the air.
That's a ding on me for having just like interpreting it automatically negatively instead of me thinking that he was talking shit about being that type of person.
Yeah, he probably was. Like, your read is probably accurate because of like the creepiness of the sound bed of the song.
Damn it, Bill! You just convinced me that you took it back.
I'm just saying, dude. There's so many times, there's a million times where ICP is like accomplishing what they're going for, and there's a million times when ICP is like failing to accomplish what they're going for, and there's also a million times where ICP accidentally accomplishes something even cooler than what they were going for. They possess multitudes, man. They contain multitudes too.
It's because they're geniuses.
Get off their
penises.
Well, I think Steve is right.
Steve's definitely right.
What's weird is because he says you want like at the end when and I think we have Sugar Slam singing here at the end, angels are falling. When they're singing that part on the outro, Violent J is still continues to talk and tell more of the story underneath in the background. And one of the things he says is, "You want to bring me down?" And it's like, what the fuck does her death have to do with you, man? You know, like making it about himself. Which is which makes me think that Steve is correct. But then after that, he's like, "How could you just leave me? This is hell right here."
Mm-hmm.
And that is what I thought was interesting about the concept of hell that Steve actually introduced me to, because I'm ignorant of like what most Christians think of hell as being, I guess, or some, I don't know. But that, like, it's the absence of God, of, like, being alone. And so I thought maybe he was kind of trying to draw that parallel. Like, all the creepy ownership shit is definitely there. But also, I think he's trying to portray this, like, missing relationship as the type of suffering that you feel when you're in hell.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. The separation of God, the second
That's
death.
Right. Hell is the absence of God, so absence of your love is hell.
I would have liked it so much more if it was like the angels took her away, you know, and that's why he's trying to kill them all. Yeah. You know, I feel like that just would have been, I would have had no complaints.
So what my rambling was at the beginning was the first time I listened to it, where I was like half listening to it, and then like halfway through the second time I was listening to it, the image that was created in my mind through like the production of the song combined with like me not paying close attention to the listen was like this image of like people who are in hell who are like constantly shooting at the sky and trying to like harpoon angels and shit. And that was like fucking rad.
Yeah.
Like just the idea of like demons in hell who are like just always taking shots at angels and like this war going on. And like, yeah, that was what stuck in my head about this
That
song.
would have been a better song.
That's true. I would have liked that one. I love all the little things that he grabs and gets to try to chuck at there. Like literally everything he can find.
He bought some Chinese stars from
Chinese stars is one.
The Kung Fu surplus.
Right. I love when he makes the
oh shit, man. What we're gonna do all this extra Kung Fu? Ordered too much Kung Fu. Fuck. Better set up a surplus store.
Delicious.
Got a real harpoon from the internet.
Yes, a real harpoon. So everything else he was using wasn't real? Like, I loved that. And then it didn't work, it gets stuck, and then he just throws it into the sky. I love that he constantly rhymes sky with sky.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it at all.
No, I didn't either. I actually liked that. That was part of the song I liked.
Yeah. I think the beat's like real chunky and fat. It's real fun.
Yeah.
Nice, cool, like groovy sound.
Going back to the Chinese stars, when he says, like, I even climbed up on the chimney to throw him up on the sky. Like,
get a little bit higher, you know?
Standing on the roof throwing Chinese stars up into the sky wasn't enough. I even climbed up on the chimney.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Like, it's both a very hilarious and, like, very sinister song. So, good job throwing that needle, I guess.
I mean, it certainly has more funny aspects to it than a lot of other songs on this album we've covered.
Yes.
I think there's something too about it being one verse.
Yeah.
It kind of just like it doesn't really go on and on, right? You just kind of gotta sit with it. You don't really get a reprieve. Like it's just here's the story. Here you deal with it, and then a kind of longer outro.
Deal with it.
That's it.
Is there anything else you guys want to cover here, or shall we move it along?
I like to cover Manic Depressive.
All right. Well, let's talk about Manic Depressive, and if you haven't listened to that, take a listen right now.
If I'm gonna die, I'm taking you with me. Get you and get me. We can be bloody. If I'm gonna fly.
This song.
I'm so dirty. So fucking dirty.
Mm-hmm.
That's like probably my favorite part of the song.
I like Shaggy's part. Jay's part was kind of depressing, man.
Yeah.
The This song's kind of depressing.
Weird.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Who
it's
could
called
have
panic
foreseen?
hysteria.
Yeah.
Ha!
So Shaggy's
One of my
part,
notes is murder suicide is always lovely.
right? He was I wasn't sure whether he was meaning to. I don't know. It was definitely murder suicide. Shaggy punches in on every line, and that's the tactic that he uses, and I think it works. I like it.
Sorry.
It goes kind of a cappella for his verse. It's just like snaps, and he's punching in.
Yeah.
It's great.
I like the don't want to turn to faith, I want to burn at stakes. Like, that's good. It's good shit, man. It's good shit, Shaggy. Good Shaggy shit. This is the song where they told us to line up to go on stage.
Right, at Juggalo Weekend.
I was just looking at my notes. It's like I don't really have any.
Yeah, I mean, what's there to say about this song?
This song is not good. I get it. It's depressing.
Correct.
Music, words, but it's so formulaic.
Look, you got
This guy
music, you
wanna
got
die.
words, what the fuck else
But
do
I'll
you
kill
need?
people.
Big Violent J's on this one. What do you expect?
Yeah, not to be confused with Shaggy.
I did write the outro is great. Because they're like killing someone and Shaggy's like, did you see that shit, Jay?
Let's get at the end. It was kind of like a
I'm
bowling
sorry,
balls
it's
reference, right?
I just don't like the song.
Sort of like a what?
It's sort of like what happens in bowling balls, like the lady getting her head cut off out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So what I meant to say when Stu was talking about the story from the Panhandler, it's too bad this album had to be so serious, because that would have been a perfect time to bring back the whoop, 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 like that guy.
Yeah. Tell me another beer.
Excellent.
They brought that guy back. Yeah,
that's a good call.
Yeah, but they couldn't, because this album's got to be serious, and grim and gritty. It's the Warhammer 40K of ICP albums. It's got to be dark and gritty and grimy.
When I'm depressed, manic depressed.
So I was kind of thinking what they're doing here is they're just kind of painting a caricature of a depressed person, right?
Yeah.
And they're both kind of using tropes that of depression as imagery. But whereas Shaggy, to me, his comes across as a character, as like commentary on a character, whether you think it's valid or justified or nice to write a song like this or whatever. To me, it feels like a character. Whereas with Violent J, I feel like there's a little bit of himself thrown in there when he says, "You throw wickedness at me," thinking about how they didn't want to make this album so much, or their heart just wasn't as much in it because of the Diamonds era. Mm-hmm. I'm just a toy to you. He's written songs before about hound dogs and, behind the paint and that kind of stuff. So I feel like he's kind of putting his real self in there a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Just the tip.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah. I've heard of that go.
The tip just got me, Orville. Wait, no, O'Grady. O'Grady? I don't know. I remember. You guys know that video?
Mm-mm.
Where the guys
I don't watch those kind of movies, Bill.
The QVC knife shopping show, and he's like, these swords are so...
Stabs himself in the stomach with this.
He's like, they're so strong. He bangs it on the counter. It fucking flies apart. Oh, the tip just got me. It just nicked me. Anyway, that's better than this song. Should we go to the last song on the album?
All right, everybody's favorite. Let's do it.
All right,
let's do it.
Let's listen to Real Underground, baby. If you haven't listened to this song, go ahead and take a listen right now.
Fucking hole in the wall, full throttle, punching in an Eldorado, full bottle. I care about no tomorrow, and I'ma kick a fucking hole in the wall. I'ma kick a fucking hole in the wall. Who can paint their face up and wear a ninja suit?
Well, this song is fucking 12 and a half minutes long. We had talked about how short all the songs on the album were, and they were just saving it for this one. And I'll tell you what, there's some good things in this track, but boy, I cannot stand this song. I don't think it's good. I think the things they're saying are good, but all of the delivery is like pretty bad. But I will say this song contains maybe the best thing on the entire album, which is "Who took the chicken off the plate and put it in the fridge? Shaggy too dope did."
Did you see the Genius annotation for that?
What?
Did you see the Genius annotation for that?
What?
Oh no, I'm gonna take a listen. I'm gonna take a look right now.
Well, while you're looking that up.
Oh my god. Oh my god. This is amazing. Go ahead.
I don't even know what it says, and I'm laughing.
Nah. So, okay, on episode 13 of the Shaggy and the Creep podcast, a viewer from the live stream asked, "Why'd you take the chicken off the plate?" And Shaggy launched into this really long story about how it was like a really difficult time in his life and he couldn't really get into it, but he was eating a lot of chicken in a lot of different ways. And then later on his Instagram posts a video, or maybe it was his Twitter, where he has a roast chicken sitting on a plate on his counter, and he picks it up and puts it in the fridge and then smiles at the camera. And it's heartwarming.
I gotta read this transcription of what he says about the chicken. And this time, I was really, really, really heavy into chicken sandwiches. Some were concerned. I had a lot of people concerned about me. It was a rough time, you know. It didn't matter what kind of chicken sandwich. It could have been a grilled chicken breast. You know, could have been a McChicken. Could have been a pulled chicken sandwich. I was just spiraling down a bad path with the chicken sandwiches. Not a part of my life I like to talk about too much, you know. I hurt a lot of people in the process. I lost my family. Thank God they keep to an understanding about me and my chicken, and they came back, but I was very lucky, you know. So I don't really want to delve into that very much because it's a really bad part of my life. We'll just keep talking about that. We'll just keep it at that for now. Maybe one day I'll be willing to talk about it.
There you go.
It's such a good, it would be a good part of any song, but like in this song, it's like, it's a resplendent oasis in the midst of a desert of not very good songs.
Yeah. You know, I understood what was happening through the song, but like when I listened to it a couple times, when I finally wrote the note that came to me was I said, all I can say about this song is it's like they heard Weird Al's Albuquerque and they said, let's do that, but make it suck.
Yes. Nathaniel and Superfly made a song. What? So this is very clearly them being like, we need a big epic song to end Hell's Pit, like we had an epic song to end all of our other Six Jokers cards for the most part, or at least, you know, especially since Malenko, and especially because the Unveiling was the last track on Shangri-La, and you know, people have come to expect like the big long epic track, you know, it was on both bazaars, etc., etc., etc. So they felt the need to make it, and they thought, what's the summation of Hell's Pit? It's going to be a summation of all the Six Jokers cards in the entire journey. So like the back half of this song, like the last several minutes of this song, is like going step by step through each of the Six Jokers cards that have come before Hell's Pit, and like that's interesting and fun.
Yeah, and that was actually cool. Yeah,
but like it's not worth it. Like it's not. It's not worth having to sit through the whole song to get that.
Yeah, no, I thank you for putting it that way, because I couldn't quite like pin it down, because it's like these are all things I should like, and I even thought that it has the entire same music for 12 minutes. I don't think the song ever deviates.
Yeah, no. Right.
And I also thought that the song reminded me of Dark Lotus's "And We Dance," but
just kind of similar.
Yeah,
just a little bit different, but it had that feel. Like they stripped the coolness of that song and just had like the underground And they just like layered, and especially at the end of the song, they layered all these different things that we love from their, they made it, what do they call it? A chorus, not a chorus, but a melody. They made a melody out of it and put all these different songs in it. And it was cool. And it kind of was like to a beat that I liked because it kind of reminded me of that song, but it just felt like, I felt like it was cheap, but they found something that was cool to actually make it a tiny bit interesting. So they'd be like, yeah, fuck this, but I've heard worse.
It's like ICP's They Might Be Giants fingertips. It's like it's very patently obviously like all the ideas they had left over, or all of the ideas that like they had that they wanted to do, but none of them added up to a full song, so they just put them all in like a grab bag sampler platter. Like it's got like this clown like singing like, this clown don't smile and honk your nose, like that's an entire song. Like, I'm not a funny clown, I'm this clown, and that ends real quick, and then like the preacher man said hallelujah part is like another song, and then like the Candyman parody that they're doing, and then who took the chicken off the plate, and then hiding under the floor like Saddam, Real Underground Baby is another thing, and then back to the Candyman parody, and then now we finally start getting into like the 6 Joker card retrospectives.
Yeah.
Like it's all over the place, and it's like very clearly like a half a dozen half-formed ideas that they just put into one big song because they're like, fuck it, we gotta do something to finish the album.
Yeah, it made me think of like the Bazaars, the end tracks of the Bazaars, where they're just kind of like throwing it all together at the end.
Yeah, but those are good.
They made that sound like, hey, check out this weird song in the studio I'm doing on an acoustic guitar.
I mean, I guess it's like the disjointed nature of it. Like it doesn't it doesn't flow or necessarily go together.
Sure.
But I did think it was interesting in the retrospective part to think about which songs they chose to represent each album.
Yeah.
For Carnival of Carnage, they chose Rebel Flag.
Perfect.
And there were actually 4 tracks off Ringmaster, Mr. Johnson's Head, Get Off Me Dog, The Loons, which was one of my favorite tracks.
Yeah.
Off that album, and Wax Museum, the first track. Toy Box was the one they chose for Riddle Box.
Mm-hmm.
Malenko was Down with the Clown.
Mm-hmm.
Jekyll Brothers was Fuck the World and Bring It On.
Mm-hmm. And I think the Shangri-La part is my favorite part of the song that isn't the chicken off the plate.
Well, they did, and so then they did Birthday Bitches, which is like off of the
Shangri-La.
Yeah.
And Hell's Forecast.
Yeah.
And then they did callbacks to this album. Tracks we listened to just last week. Every Day I Die, they did The Styx, Too Much Time in My Hand, again. So I was like, wow, that's amazing. They're calling back to, but they've done that before. That's their thing. Call back to the album that you're listening to.
Well, it's the 6 Jokers card.
Right. Yeah, right. You gotta have it in there. But Every Day I Die, so that's the one that they chose for Hell's Pit.
It's good. So is there anything else that you guys want to say about this track before I move on to my study question?
No.
Well, no.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to say I didn't like this track, but I did love the Who Took the Chicken Off the Plate part. But this song is just unnecessary, and I hated it. How do you guys feel about it? I think ultimately it's not worth it. Like, that's just what I keep coming back to. It's not worth it. It's not worth listening.
Yeah, I would never listen to it again. I understand why they made it, but...
Yeah.
I feel like if someone likes it, then I want to be like, oh, that's awesome, dude. I'm so happy you like it.
Yeah, for sure. I don't begrudge anyone liking shit. It's just like, it's basically like a recap. Like, it's a summary, and it's a summary of something that you've already been summarizing for an hour,
Yeah.
Like this podcast.
Huzzah!
It just doesn't go out with a oomph, you know?
Yeah. It
The
goes out
album,
with a,
you want it to just like explode in your hands at the end.
yeah, it goes out with a wah 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 doo 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 doo.
Oh, but they use that a lot. That
Yeah.
wah 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 wah. They use that at the beginning of the
Pee-wee's Playhouse?
Yeah.
Well, it is from Pee-wee's Playhouse, but the
Right.
extended toy box loop, they use that same thing at the beginning of the Fearless Red Fury show that we went to when they come out as action figures and they're marching around on stage. It was that same.
That's
that
great.
Same hook.
Oh, that's
over and over.
awesome.
Yeah. It was the best. That I'm so stoked that DVD that we got, Ryan, at the show is of that tour.
Yeah, it's
Excited
good.
to watch
Have
it.
you watched it?
I haven't watched it yet. No.
Oh, it's good.
Oh,
yeah.
Good. I'm stoked.
Yeah, it's rad.
So yeah, guys, that wraps up Hell's Pit, and my question is the best Hell's Pit song the one that's on Shangri-La? No?
Clearly, for me, it's Bowling Balls.
Hmm.
Clearly. It's my favorite
Clearly.
fucking song. Clearly.
Ever? It's your favorite ICP song of all time?
Yeah, forever now.
Bowling Balls and then Jacob's Word.
No. But it's my favorite song on this album.
Which is the Hell's Pit song on Shangri-La?
Hell's Forecast.
Yeah.
Hell's Forecast, right. Hell's Forecast
But
is
it's
pretty good.
It's close, I think. I think that they basically did the best. Like, they did it good, and then they didn't really need to do Hell's Pit.
I mean, my final verdict is liked it way more than I did originally.
Absolutely.
I
Oh,
wasn't
yeah,
about to
for
give
sure.
it a second listen when it first came out.
Like, again, this is a totally decent album to, like, put on if you're, like, doing other shit. Like, it's totally acceptable song. It's a totally acceptable album to, like, play in the background. However, that being said, I would rather listen to other ICP albums in the background while I'm doing stuff, because it's, on aggregate, they're more upbeat and less depressing.
It doesn't feel like an album that, you put on explicitly to listen to. You gotta be in, like, a weird kind of mood. Or I would have to be in a strange mood.
Like, if
to
you were on
listen to it.
sedatives or perhaps...
I loved listening to it
meditatives.
for the purposes of this podcast. Like, I had a great time
Sure.
dissecting it and picking it apart and thinking about
So,
different parts of it.
That's our recommendation. If you have an Insane Clown Posse themed podcast, you should
Right.
definitely check this album.
You'll dig it, yeah.
Or if you already like the album, fucking right on, man.
It is the most this was the album that most people contacted us about
Yeah.
being excited about
Can't
hearing
wait
about. So.
for you to get to Hell's Pit. And oh boy, did they wish on that monkey's paw, because I hope it was worth the 2 years it took for us to get through.
For us to
Hell's
say we
Pit.
don't like it.
Yeah. No, it's fine. It's fine. I definitely, like Ryan was saying, like, I pretty much hated this album when it came out. That's why I only listened to it like once or twice. And now I'm okay with it. It's fine. It's gonna be like this and like Carnival of Carnage are like like the two albums like I would listen. You know what? I would easily listen to Hell's Pit over Carnival of Carnage if I was going to listen to.
God,
the album
yes.
put on.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, easily.
Well, for
Like,
me, I would listen to it over Riddlebox too. So, or not Riddlebox, but at least Ringmaster.
Yeah, probably over Ringmaster. But there's a lot of good shit on Ringmaster too.
There is a lot of good shit on Ringmaster, and there's some like that. Yeah, never mind.
It's neck and neck.
Yeah.
But it's like
however,
I'm saying, it's not my like least favorite ICP album ever, and it's I couldn't say that with the first time I listened to it. Like I would listen to this a million times before I listened to Beverly Hills again.
So the thing about this, like a song on this album that I like so much versus like comparing it to Ringmaster, there are some amazing songs on Ringmaster that I love when I rethink about it. However, Bowling Balls I like better than any of those songs from Ringmaster. I love Bowling Balls. I fucking love that. It's like in my top 10 ICP songs of all time. I love that song. I know you guys thought that was funny when I talked about it before, but god damn it, I love that song. So
It makes me happy to hear, man.
Oh, that's great.
yeah. So that's what makes me like and then there's I love Bodies Fly Into the Sky and Explode. I don't know if that's the name of the song, but that was a reject song from this album that ends up being on some other Forgotten Freshness or something, but it's a reject song.
I know what song you're talking about. That's a good song.
Bodies fly to the side. Oh, fuck. I love that song. I love that song almost as much as I love Bowling Balls. And I associate that song with this album because it's reject from this album. So nice. That makes this album a little bit better.
Yeah, nice. Well put.
Yeah.
Well, thanks to everyone for making it through this journey with us. And guess what? We're going to fucking keep going because we can't stop now. It's too late to turn back. So here's what's going on. As it turns out, there was a whole lot of Psychopathic Records shit that came out immediately after this album. So we're going to start working our way through all that. So Hell's Pit.
Bill.
Yeah.
But before we do,
yeah,
because actually next week,
oh god,
we have a special guest.
Ooh, exciting!
What the fuck?
So we need to know two things. We need to know what's happening next week and who we're interviewing. And then we need to know 2 weeks from then what albums we're going to listen to.
Okay.
Or tracks.
You want to tell us?
Well, I mean, I guess we're going to keep it a surprise. But we do have a secret guest that we're having in next week's episode. So we do not have a listening assignment for next week.
Yes. But for 2
weeks. You guys can have a week off.
Yeah, but that's good because the next listening assignment is an entire album. So
right, or maybe you want to listen to it for 2 weeks. You know,
Jesus fucking Christ, what is it? Just say it.
So, and the next time we talk about Psychopathic Records release, we're going to be talking about Blaze Ya Dead Homie's second studio album, Colton Grundy The Undying. We'll cover the whole album in one episode, and then if you want to get even further out ahead of that shit. We're going to be talking about Monoxide Child's Chainsmoker LP, which I'm
oh my god.
Steve's fucking beside himself.
Oh my god.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, let's not rush Blaze. Let's do this. Let's get through Blaze and just do it right so we can focus on Monoxide.
Steve just ruined his No Net November.
Oh my god.
In August.
Well, I'm super excited to do Blaze Ya Dead Homie because when I was listening to this record, after it finished, actually when I was listening to the tracks right before we were recording, and I was listening to on YouTube Music now, it used to be Google Play, and it fast forwarded, skipped to the next track was Blaze Ya Dead Homie off of Gang Rags, Walk It Out. And that song is dope, and that's like the only other Blaze that I've heard, except for the album his first album that we covered. So nice. I'm really excited to get into Blaze's next album.
Dope. Well, I'm excited too. I've never listened to it. I've never listened to Colton Grundy before. So,
Walk It Out is dope. You should listen to that song.
Okay.
What's it called? Colton what?
Colton Grundy, The Undying. So thanks to everybody for sticking with it. It was a lot of fun. We fucking did it. We made it. If I get hit by lightning tomorrow, we made it through Hell's Pit. So, I hope Ryan still releases this track if I get hit by lightning. That's my tagline.
I'll do it.
All right, cool. Thanks everybody. You can always hit us up on all social media at Dim Carnival. You can hit us with any emails or questions. We'd like to know what you thought of what we thought of Hell's Pit, whether it was worth the journey. If you're pleased with what we arrived at or disappointed, let us hear it. Have at it, man. Drag us, fam. dimcarnival@gmail.com is the email address. And thanks to everybody for hanging in there. We appreciate it. And I think that's it. Until next time, I'm Bill.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Ryan.
And if you do not finish the chicken that you've allotted for yourself, you know what? Be courteous and professional. Take it off the plate. Put it in the fridge.